Hello, everyone. Welcome to the episode of the BG Show. I'm here to talk about X-Men 97, the new animated series, the continuation of the original X-Men 90s animated series from Marvel Animation, which is the new brand of Marvel Studios. A complete triumph, in my opinion, for Marvel Studios. Arguably the biggest win, not only since Endgame, maybe in the entire MCU period, regardless of before Endgame, after Endgame. Nearly a perfect show, almost no complaints. So let me get into it. This is your official spoiler warning. I'm just gonna get right into spoilers. If you haven't seen this show, it's obviously on Disney Plus. Should you watch the original show? I don't think you have to. If you want to start from the beginning, I think it's definitely worth it. But if you want to start just from this show, I think that's also doable. Even if you're not familiar with the characters, I think you'll catch on pretty quick. So this is your official spoiler warning. Probably my favorite, things about the show. What I like about, first I'll get what I like about most. First of all, just the fact that it's a '90s show. There's the fact that we're getting it. It's something that I never thought that we'd ever get again. If they ever did animated shows again, I would always think they'd kind of reboot it or do a new thing. So the fact that we're getting one of the classic shows again is really, really cool. But the thing that really stands out to me is just the stakes of the show. There's way more stakes than what we're really used to, within comic book universes. I know we get some stakes in Invincible, but that's kind of its own, independent series. When we're talking about Marvel DC, even though I love the Batman animated series and I love the Spider-Man animated series, it's my favorite things. A lot of the times, those nothing's going to happen to those characters. The moment, and like I said, spoiler warning. If you still haven't, I'm going to get to a big spoiler here. The moment Gambit dies, you kind of realize, oh shit, anything's on the table. You think at the same time Magneto's maybe dead, but Genosha City gets blown to hell, and Gambit dies. Really, really cool scene. This is another reason why animation is so much better than live action. I don't think that the scene would have been super expensive, much harder to do. Would the actor have nailed it? Even if you got the right actor for Gambit, would he have nailed it? Um, but in an animated series, it's just way easier to do. So I thought the stakes of the show were great. A lot of people, not a lot of people, but a good amount of people died. It was very raw. It was very adult. So right off the bat, those were my favorite things about the show. Another good thing I liked about the show is it kind of, there are some moments that reminded me of really epic anime moments, especially the music. Probably my favorite moment of the entire show may have been Storm's entrance. When she kind of was walking on glass and turning the sand into glass. The music really reminded me of almost like Dragon Ball Z music. So I really, really love that. Another thing that's a show that stood out, and I think some people like it, some people won't like it, but I think it was the right move. Not, kind of shifting from Wolverine. Obviously we're going to get Wolverine, with Hugh Jackman, and we'll probably get him recasted again in the MCU. So I think to kind of shift this for Cyclops to kind of finally be the main guy. Cyclops, a character who I'm not in love with, but definitely going to get a ton of respect in the original movies. Or even really that much in the newer movies. So I think it was kind of a good idea to give him respect here. Um, so yeah, I really, really like those parts. Some people might have problems with the voice actors. They use the same voice actors for certain characters, like Wolverine, who's much, much older. So some people might complain. Cyclops is a new voice actor who I thought did a good job, but some people might not notice it or might notice it. So I think it really depends who you are. That could be a complaint. It wasn't a complaint for me. I thought the voice acting was fine. I thought the graphics were fine. My biggest complaint, and it's not even really a complaint, it's just that for me, even though I acknowledge how good the show is, the X Men, regardless of how many different projects I watch of them, just I'm not as into them as I am the other Avengers, the other Marvel characters, like Spider Man, like Daredevil, like the main Avengers roster. And that's not even just because, of the MCU. I just was always more into those characters than the X Men. Even earlier on in the X Men movies, the first X Men movie, X2, X3, and then Days of Futures Past, and all those movies. I never really, really loved those movies. I never was really as into the X Men as other people think. So many people think, um, that the Avengers and the X Men would be, that the X Men would wipe the floor with the Avengers. I totally disagree, and I'll do a video on that. But, I guess my biggest complaint is just kind of, the X Men are, it's so dramatic every episode. There's always just drama, drama, drama. It almost feels like you're watching just like, I don't want to say a soap opera, but X-Men in general, just every storyline is so dramatic. It's either like a love triangle, or Storm is claustrophobic and she's having a mental breakdown. There's always something with the X-Men, whereas the other superheroes just kind of like, okay, there's a problem, let's fight, let's fix it. So I think a lot of times, at least for me, I don't know, a lot of people will disagree with this. For me, it's not my favorite thing. I prefer Batman animated show. I prefer the Spider-Man animated show. And, a lot of people disagree. I think Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes, I prefer to the show as well. But I still think this show, from a creation standpoint, is still on the level of those shows. I just think it's a matter of if you care about the characters. If the X-Men are like your team and the people that you care about, I think no doubt about it, you'll 100% love the show. I thought the ending was really good. They kind of all end up in different timelines. We are going to get Apocalypse next season. We get kind of in ancient Egypt, and they don't really say it, but if you know his name and kind of look it up, that is Apocalypse, which is pretty cool. Obviously, we got it with Oscar Isaac in the live action, but we're yet to get it, in the animation. So we'll see what we do. I think they're really, really going to milk this. Not milk it, but I think they're going to now get some mileage out of the show. I don't think they're in a rush. I don't think it's going to be a one and done, especially with the live action shows kind of being iffy. So, to give it a score, I'd give the show maybe like a not. I mean, personally, for me, I don't love the X-Men as much as other people. So for me, it's like, in terms of rewatchability, it's like a 7.5, 8. But if you're into the X-Men, or even just someone who's kind of neutral to the Marvel characters, I think this is like a 9 out of 10 show. I think it's really, really good. Highly, highly suggest watching it. Even if you're not even into the MCU, even if you're not into animation, I think you're really, really going to love it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. That's my review for X-Men 97. Like I said, a great show, a triumph for Marvel. This is exactly what they need going forward. It's just good animation where they're able to do things like the Gambit dying, like really, really impactful things, but they don't have to worry about, these big budget A-list stars and kind of killing them off. So that's my review of X-Men 97. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.